This is a 3-part video series teaching you how to create and format amazing tables in Apple Pages, from beginner to intermediate to advanced. Each video will show you how to create different practical tables, so you end up with a finished product. Starting with our first beginner video, we will create 2 tables, a pros and cons table and a travel itinerary. You can get all the files and summary of steps for each section in my Etsy store. First, let's create a simple but polished a practical pros and cons table comparing 3 types of vehicles: gas, hybrid, and electric. On the left, you can see what we will start with, and on the right, what we will end up with. First, let's insert a table. There are 2 ways to do that. The first way, go to Insert, scroll down to Table, then pick from Basic or Plain. If you press Return, the table will move down by default. The second way to insert a table is to place your cursor where you want to place it. Then go to the top menu and click the table icon. A set of default tables in different colors will appear. The different colors indicate header columns, rows, and footers. I will select one style. Once you have selected your table, by clicking on it, the table formatting sidebar will appear on the right with different formatting options. You can still change the table style here, though there are fewer table styles. To delete a table, select it and press the Delete key. I want to start with a very basic table so we can review everything. To move a table, select the circle in the top left corner between row 1 and column A, then drag it to where you want it to go. You can also cut a table by selecting it and pressing Command plus X, then clicking a new spot and pasting it with Command plus V. Once I select my table, the formatting sidebar gives me 4 tabs: Table, Cell, Text, and Arrange. The Table tab applies formatting to the entire table. The Cell tab lets you modify individual cells within the table. The Text tab lets you adjust fonts and formatting for either the whole table or individual cells. And finally, the Arrange tab controls the table's position and how it flows with or around the text. To add columns, select one, right-click, then choose Add Columns Before or Add Columns After the one you selected. To delete a column, select it, right-click, and choose Delete Column. You can do the same with rows. Add rows before or after and delete them the same way. An even easier way to add or remove columns and rows is to use the circled equal icon in the table's top right and bottom left corners. Click the arrows to increase or decrease the number of columns or rows. Now I will add some information to my table about gas, hybrid, and electric vehicles. Press Return to start a new line within a cell. To move around the table, use the arrow keys or the tab key. If you reach the last cell in a row, the next tab press will take you to the first cell in the next row. I'm going to add more information to the table. Right now, it's not looking great, since I can't see all the text I typed. Everything is getting cut off. To fix that, select the table, go to the Table tab in the sidebar, and scroll down to resize rows to fit content. This should be checked by default, but now you know how to turn it on if it isn't. That looks much better already. I will keep adding more text, including some cons for each vehicle type. I find it easier to work on formatting once I have enough data to see what the table actually needs. I will keep adding rows and information until the table looks like this. With all the information I gather on 3 vehicle types. Now let's fix the formatting. Again, to fit the text in each cell, select the table, then go to the Table tab, resize rows to fit content. Next, let's fix the text getting cut off on the sides. Select the table, go to the Text tab, and check Wrap Text in Cell. This should also be on by default. Now all my text is visible, but the table is narrow and doesn't span the full page. To resize it, select the table and drag the right edge outward. Then adjust the columns' widths by dragging their borders left or right. That's not very precise if you want equal columns though. So instead, select the table, right-click, and choose Distribute Columns Evenly. Now the table fits nicely on the page. If you ever want to reorder your columns or rows, hover over the column, click it, and drag it to a new position. Make sure you're only selecting one column. Sometimes you may accidentally select more than one, in which case, deselect everything and try again. One thing to watch out for, if you select a column and then click outside the table, that column can get pulled out into a separate new table. If that happens, just undo with Command+Z. The first thing I like to fix is the font. Select the entire table, then under Text, choose a font and size for the whole table. I will set everything to Centric Gothic at 9 point. To change the header row text, select that row specifically and increase the font size. Just make sure you select the entire row, not just one cell. You can also change the text alignment for your table or individual cells. Select the table and under Text, scroll to the Alignment section. You can align text left, center, right, or justified. I will center mine. If you want different styling for part of the text within a single cell, you will unfortunately have to do it manually. Select each word you want to bold, enlarge, or decrease in size, and repeat that across every cell. That can get tedious, so a faster approach may be to format one row the way you want, then copy and paste it into an empty row and just add new text. Also, don't forget the basics, like checking spelling. Select your table and go to Edit, Spelling and Grammar. And make sure Check Spelling while typing is enabled so you can see correction as you go. To make a busy table easier to read, select it, go to the Table tab, and check Alternating Row Color. Just make sure you don't have any merged cells first, or it may not display correctly. Another common thing you will want to do is merge text across columns. Select the cells, right-click, and choose Merge Cells. I will do that with my pros and cons rows to make those sections stand out. Next, I will change the cell fill color to light green for pros, light pink for cons, and yellow for the vehicle type. Now, you will want to convert the top row into a header row. So if your table spans multiple pages, the header can be repeated on each page. I will add a second header row to give the table a better introduction. Now both headers will repeat on each page if needed and can be styled differently. You can also add a footer row for source information. Notice the text isn't centered vertically. To fix that, select the row, go to Text, and choose the vertical alignment option for middle. If you ever want to unmerge cells, select them, right-click, and choose Unmerge Cells. The table is looking much better already. If you have multiple tables in your document, it's good practice to give each one a title. Select the table, go to Table, and check the Title option under Table Options. A table title sits above the table, outside the table itself. Triple-click it to rename and style it. A final touch you can add to your tables and text: emoji indicators. Go to Edit, scroll down to Emoji and Symbols, and search for the icon you want. I will search for icons to represent gas, hybrid, and electric. You can also open the emoji and symbol picker by pressing Ctrl, Command, and Space. I will do the same for the pros and cons sections. One last touch, I will remove the alternating row color since it looks a little busy with all the fill colors already in place. This is much better. One more tip. When a table spans multiple pages, you can right-click the header rows and choose Repeat Header Rows on each page, so the table doesn't look orphaned. Finally, if you want the table to always stay in the same place on the page, select it, go to Arrange tab, and choose Stay on Page under Object Placement. Now, no matter how much text I add before the table, it flows around the table without moving it. On the other hand, if you select Move with Text, any text you add before the table will push it down the page. One more important option. If you want to protect your table from accidental changes, select it. Make sure you have the Stay on Page selected, then scroll down and choose Lock. Now the table won't move as you edit the document, and it's also protected from accidental changes, which matters especially if your table contains numbers. To unlock it, select it and click on Lock. And there you have it, quite the improvement from where we started. Let's make another table in Pages, a travel itinerary. On the left is a very simple table which we will format into a great looking one shown on the right. Often you may already have a table in Microsoft Word that you want to start with in Pages. If that's the case, you can easily convert it. I have a Word table here. To open it in Pages, open Pages, then go to File, Open, and select the Microsoft file. Once Pages opens the file, you may get a message saying the document is missing fonts. You can replace them with fonts you have available in Pages. You can see the Pages did an amazing job converting the Word table. It's almost identical. However, opening the Word doc directly pulls in the whole document styles, not just the table. So you may end up with a bunch of Microsoft Word styles in Pages Paragraph Styles panel that you will need to remove. Another way is to open your Word document, select your table, copy it, then switch to Pages and paste it. This way, the formatting looks more different, but it still is pretty good as a starting point. I am just going to insert a new basic table first. The quickest way to set up headers and footers for a table is to go to the Table tab in the sidebar and scroll to the Headers and Footers section. Then use the pop-up menu to choose the number of header columns, header rows, and footer rows. The reason you want headers and footers in your table is so you can keep their formatting different from the rest of the table. I like to start with a plain table, so I will go to Cell tab and remove the fill color. Then add basic borders so I can actually see my table. Again, you can quickly add more columns and rows using the circled equal icons and the up and down arrows to increase or decrease them. First, I will add some information and data to my table to get an idea of what I want to include in my travel itinerary. The important thing is to just start jotting down what you need. You can figure out the layout later. Or if you prefer, sketch a layout on a piece of paper before you start building the table. I want day, time, activity, and notes in my travel itinerary. I will keep it simple and on one page so I can print it or save it to my phone as reference. Notice that when I start typing day, autofill suggestion pops up, just like in Excel. That's very helpful for quickly reusing text you have already typed. I will keep going until I have most of my information in, like you see here in my bare bones travel itinerary table. To adjust the columns, just grab a column border and drag it left or right. If you want all the columns to be even, right-click the table's top left corner and select Distribute Columns Evenly. My table is looking pretty tight right now, so I will go to the Table tab in the sidebar and select Resize Rows to fit content at the bottom. First, I will select the top 3 rows and convert them into headers. Then I will select the bottom row and make it a footer. I will also merge the content across it, italicize it, and center it across the columns. I will keep merging and formatting the rest of the table the same way. If you need to reorganize any activities, just select a row, drag it to a new position, then update the time. Now I will add some fill colors to few rows in the table. Sometimes hardest part is picking just the right color, something clean and professional but still eye-catching. To speed things up, instead of formatting one row at a time, you can multi-select rows by holding Command and clicking each one. Then format them all at once. If a color is too dark or just not quite right, try the color wheel. Or take a shortcut and lower the color's opacity to make it lighter. Then save it to your color picker so you have it ready to use later in the rest of the document. I will also change some text color to make the travel itinerary look more interesting. I will also emphasize the division between each day by adding a slight border to the top of each day. Even after all that, I still wasn't happy with the table. And that's because I realized I never actually changed the font. So I will update it from Times New Roman to Century Gothic, which I find more readable and modern. Final touch, I will find an airplane emoji to insert into the header and footer for a finished touch. To open the emoji and symbol picker, press Ctrl plus Command plus space. And there you go. You can see how much more professional, inviting, and readable our travel itinerary looks compared to where we started. You can find all these and more tables in my Etsy store. Thanks so much for watching.